So, Assassin's Creed Shadows numbers, actual copies sold, have been found online. Here's the source for that. So, don't hate the player, hate the game. The source, this is the source. This part right there, and that's got all the numbers. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows sales are out, and it's way worse than you think. So remember, they were going with this whole 3 million people played. There's a reason why they didn't talk about the copies sold. So 2.4 million copies, as you can see, PS5, PC, Xbox. So this, I'm assuming, is not only Steam, but maybe any other service where you can buy them. But let's bring up our little calculator. There's a reason why they chose the 3 million number instead of that. So 2.4 million copies, 2.4 million copies times $70. Keep in mind, the game, I think it took about $300 to $400 million just to produce, along with money to market. So I think it's about $700-800 million. So again, 300 million just to produce the game. Does this look like it was profitable? After 2 months, does this look like it was profitable? It didn't even come close to breaking even. But sure, tell us it was a success. This is why they chose to use players instead of actual numbers of copies sold. Because this, again, they would need at least 600-700 million just to break even. Did they come close? Nope. They are barely even getting close to the production costs. But sure, keep telling us it was a success. Within days, Ubisoft proudly announced 3 million players, or 3 billion if you count Ubisoft Plus glorified DRM posing as a game launcher. Ubisoft celebrated, declaring their God's greatest gift to mankind had shattered all gaming records. Yet no one knew the actual sales numbers. Again, 3 million players, clearly 3 million players, but then it only sold 2.4 million copies. Huh. Ain't that curious? Now, 2 months later, we finally have the numbers, and they're brutal. So the PS5, 1.7 million copies sold since launch. The PC, 367,000 copies sold on Steam in the first 2 weeks. After which sales plummeted so hard it became difficult for game analytics to gather accurate data. Xbox, no exact numbers, but it's the worst performing among the 3 platforms, so let's be generous and assume it matches PC with 367. So we don't even know Xbox. We don't even know that, but assuming if it's doing worse than these two, it would have to be below 367,000. So this person is like upping it. So it could be less than this. But sure, tell us it was a financial success. Keep telling us. Just because you liked the game doesn't make it a financial success. So in order for it need, I think, probably about, let's see. Yeah, it would need 10 million copies just to break even. So, if you want to go out and buy that many copies to make it a success, you're more than welcome to. But the fact is, it's not going to get that much. It's been 2 months, and they've barely sold 2.5. That brings the total to 2.4 million copies across all platforms. To put that into perspective, Ghost of Tsushima sold that many copies in 3 days. And it was a PlayStation exclusive, meaning it wasn't on PC. It wasn't on the Xbox. And yet it sold 2.4 million copies as being just a PlayStation exclusive in 3 days. So no one can say, oh, well, it's the exclusives are harder to sell, or with with this game, there's no way around it. When you have a game selling that much, and they're almost the same kind of genre of game, but yeah, even Assassin's Creed 1, a game from 18 years ago, sold 2.5 million copies in its first month. Ubisoft will post their earnings today in the next few hours. What do you think they're going to tell their investors to hide them in their massive flop of a game? It was all the phobes and isms. But yeah, so what was it? 2 point. And I'm being generous because I think, wasn't there like a bundle, like a ultimate edition or whatever it is, and it's like $100 or something, but we're just being generous with $70 base game. But yeah, not even close to breaking even. That is why they decided to say 3 million players instead of what they actually had. But sure, keep defending them. Every other game that's come out that's sold well, Monster Hunter Wilds, whatchamacallit, oh my god, Kingdom of Deliverance 2. There was one other one that did pretty, the new game that just came out, I can't remember. But all of them, they're like, thanks for this many copies sold. But then you have Ubisoft over here like, oh, thank you for 3 million players. Yeah, seems like it really didn't mean a whole lot. But sure, keep defending them. That way they're never gonna fucking learn or change anything. They're just gonna keep making their slop products because they know people out there are fucking stupid enough to keep defending them. Like, oh god, yes, Big Daddy Ubisoft. Oh yes, keep giving us that. It's better than nothing. Again, they would have to sell 10 million copies just to break even. And breaking even that's not good. You don't want to break even because you want to make a profit. If you're breaking even, you're not making any profit. So they would have to sell, how much would 11? $70. It'd be like, yeah, a 700, and so it'd be like, 70 million profit, which really not that great, but it's still better than not even coming close. I mean, I don't understand why it's so hard for people to just say, hey, they created a crap product. It may look nice, but the gameplay was crap, the story was crap, the characters were crap. It can look as pretty as it wants, but if the game itself is crap, look at all the games that come out on Steam, these indie games that look like they're from, the NES, Super NES era, and they sell just fine. People don't care about the graphics. They just want a good game. If the graphics are great, awesome, super. But most people don't give a flying fuck about how nice the game looks. We just want a game we can get our hands on, play, and enjoy, and not have to worry about stupid crap like bugs or glitches, and have a great story, relatable characters, good music. It could look like fucking Ocarina of Time for all we care. We're still gonna play it as long as it's a good game. But yeah, just keep telling us that it's a success. Go crying. Assassin's Creed news. Go crying. Still a little over 100 million. This is way better than I thought it would be. I'm confused. All I've heard since the release was that it's been a massive success. Yeah, Expedition 33. Yeah, that was another one. That's the other one. People, they're coming out saying, hey, thanks for this many copies sold or whatever. This fall is even worse than that. Than the one that happened after the game released. When was this? We got May 15th right there. It's May 15th today. So, that's a huge dip right there. Uh-huh. That's a huge dip. But I thought it was a return to form. But it had millions of players playing, they said. Are you telling me not all of those millions of players playing the game hadn't actually bought the game and were instead playing it for cheap as part of a subscription service, which nets almost to no revenue to the game developers? Ubisoft has all the resources to produce a great game. Oh, has all the resources. They would only need to focus and the right leadership. Yet they're hostages of themselves as their team is politically and ideologically charged and so unable to produce a game that doesn't try to push this onto the player. But they ratioed the WoW guy on their social media. How could this happen? But McCrums. You got Hypnotic. We finally know. I'm making a note here. Huge success. Someone busted out GLaDOS. That's great. Oh, damn, I can't believe it, dude. It was a 10 out of 10 game. Rest in pepperoni. Pepperoni. Remember when they were glazing this game like it was a huge success? Assassin's Creed Shadows is sets a peak of 47,000 plus concurrent players on Steam on day one. Yeah. And then was the other one? Someone go check on that boy. Has already passed 1 million players. Again, you just saw the numbers. 1 million players doesn't mean anything. 700 million is what they would need to break even. They didn't even come close. But keep telling us it's a success. I think it's a huge win for the gaming industry, showing what actual gamers want. Yeah, it's true. But my 2 million first week players. Even if all those are a $70 version, that's yeah. Yeah, that's what we did. I didn't any kind of like subscription or anything. I just 2.4 million. I just assume all of those are going to be $70, and that's what you get. You get like 100. What was 168? So 168 million. So that was me. That's being generous because I don't know how many people were buying it on compared to say the subscription service, which is only like what, $5. So they said it was a huge success. They said it was a success. What happened? I'm devastated, I tell ya. Devastated. Now excuse me while I go play Black Flag again. Oh no. Anyway. Let me play a song for you on the world's smallest violin. Never heard of it. Oof. That's an oof. They actually thought people would just accept a purposely obnoxious game about a black samurai. Oh, really? Who would have thought? So, yeah. Like I said, we just went and the 2.4 million, just assuming all of these were actual copies that were bought, not the subscription service. Yeah, it was like what, 168 million dollars, which is nothing. And again, here's the website. I mean, you can go type in actually. Yeah, you can just type it out. But yeah, this is what Ubisoft. This is what any company does when the game's failing and it's not selling a lot. This is what they do. They'll say, this many players, you know, in whatever amount of time. Like, great, but how many copies sold? Because again, there are other games, Monster Hunter Wilds and the other ones that I mentioned that I can't remember right now. That came out and they did just fine. I think, what is it, Avowed tried to do the same thing. Instead of listing, you know, giving the amount of copies sold, they just try to say, oh, this many players. Like, great. How many copies sold? How much money did you make back? Because that's the money you make, that determines on whether it's a success or not. And again, they would need to make, for this game, it would need 10 million copies sold just to make back that 700 million. That's to break even. They would need $11 million just to make some kind of profit. So, but hey, it's current day, modern gaming. They don't care about how much money was made. They just want to jerk off to how many players. You know, 3 million players. Awesome. I guess it means that game is a success. Game of the year. Game of the year coming up. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.